And it's tough as well because your mum obviously is going through her own private situation of the grief that she was going. And everybody deals with these things in different ways. And she became very, very depressed and not necessarily, and totally understandably, couldn't quite be there for you as a mother.
Yeah, so she went through really, really bad depression, and we could go days without seeing her because she was sleeping, just to try and just deal with it. So she did we kind of lost a mum as well in the way, because she wasn't the mum she used to be. But she's gotten so much better now. She is trying to make up for it, and she's there all the time, just trying to make up for the time she lost.
She said, went as far as to say you actually feel like you got your mum back.
Yeah, like when we were going through it, we just felt like we'd not just lost our sister, we'd lost our mum as well. And Dad was having to play both roles, and then when Dad was busy, I'd having to play roles for Harley. So we've finally got our mum back, and we do feel like we've got her back.
Well, we find a lot of times here, and this is what you've done as a family, that when something so horrible happens at the core of your family, then, right, OK, let's do something about this. Let's try and prevent this from happening again. And that's where April's Law was first discussed. And I know that your mum and your dad worked very hard on it. And surprisingly, I was really surprised today when I found out that the momentum had been quite slow. It had taken a while to get those amount of signatures needed for it to be acknowledged by Parliament, discussed in Parliament. You have now thrown your personality and weight behind it, and it has moved forward.
Yeah. So Mum and Dad's originally started a petition in about 2013, and that was with the son, but no one wanted anything to do with it because of the bad reputation. So that kind of just stopped. And then someone started another petition with Go Petition, and that had gained about 70,000 signatures altogether. And I got a message one day on Facebook from someone saying, like, I hope you don't take this wrong way, but if you're really serious about the law, it has to be a government petition, because otherwise it won't stand for anything.
So Mark, what does this mean then? What currently is the situation, and what would April's Law change if it came into
So April's Law is three elements, basically. It's one, it's to keep sex offenders, child sex offenders, on the register for life. Secondly, it's about talking to the authorities, and particularly the social media and the internet providers, to say you need to do more to stop child abuse material being available online. And of course that's because Bridger was not only looking at photographs of local girls, but he was going and seeking out child abuse material. And then the third element, which is in relation to sentencing and increasing the sentencing in respect to sex offenders. So those three elements are broken down. Now, some of those have been addressed by the government. So the government have, in relation to the last one about sentencing guidelines, they have increased them from minor sentencing now to, if you possess child abuse material, it's a minimum of 5-year sentence, and it's 10 years for distributing or making. Now, the massive problem with that is that the Sentencing Council come with a caveat to say, but what we want to do is increase the amount of community-based sentenced, reduce the amount of custodial sentences. So whilst they've increased the sentencing time, they've reduced the amount, well, they want to try and keep people out of prison. Well, the problem with that is, of course, is that they don't marry together. And I would be very clear, you know, I've said a number of times, if you possess child abuse material, it should be a minimum 1-year sentence as a custodial sentence, as a minimum, and it builds up from there. We have to be saying very clearly that any image of a child being abused is a real child having undertaken sexual abuse, and that is the starting point. So we have to do that. So I'm totally behind you, and I will put all my weight behind that. And I hope that in relation to this now, the profile that comes from this is that we've got to be saying to the rest of the public, listen, let's take these things seriously. Let's really start to say that sex offending needs to be tackled. The second element, which is with regards to internet providers and social media, the problem there is that we have not got a zero tolerance of child abuse material online. So Twitter, social media, it is awash with child abuse.
I couldn't believe that. How can that be the case?
Because no one's proactively going out there and removing these images, collecting the data and giving it to
so hard because so many of them are overseas as well, so it's hard to track them down.
Absolutely, and you know that you can create a profile on Twitter and not be collecting, you know, no data given, don't know where you're from, you know, you don't have to sign up in any way. And what ends up happening is the internet providers and the search engines collect data from other sites.
Well, your weight behind it will also be very important. Will you please give our love to all the families?
Yeah, please do.
And good luck with it now.
Thank you.
Let's hope this is the momentum that it needs.